All right, folks, how you doing? My name's David. I'm here to do a quick video on probe match verification using Colourspace ZRO. The purpose of this is just to confirm that your spectro and your colorimeter are properly matched and measuring within NIST tolerances of each other after you perform the probe match in ZRO. Just disclaimer, this video is not how to do a probe match. I'll link a video in the description on light illusion explaining how to do that, so this video will not cover that. This is simply a quick tutorial on using a spreadsheet to verify that the probe match is measuring within NIST tolerances of each other. The method to do this is just pretty simple. You're going to compare the exact same measurements between the spectro and the probe match colorimeter. So pretty easy. Once you get the hang of it, it takes about 5 minutes. I can say historically, doing this myself, ZRO is extremely good at probe matching, and I've almost never have issues. If I do have issues, it's almost always user error on my part. I've changed the brightness or bit depth, or I've made a mindless error somewhere, and I just go back and redo it and it works out fine. So let's get started. The first thing you're going to want to do is create a probe match folder somewhere on your PC, and you're going to want to download files that I have linked in the description from my Google Drive, and that's going to be this verification spreadsheet as well as a guide if you want that, and then the probe match patch sets. I've included both legal, which you would use for both legal and extended range and full range patch sets to verify, both in 8-bit and 10-bit depth, depending on whatever bit depth you're working in ZRO. Both are fine, just make sure you keep it all the same while you're doing this. So once you get those files downloaded, you're going to go ahead and perform your probe match in ZRO. Like I said, I'm not going to go over that. It's assumed you're going to know how to do that. Once you get the probe match finished in ZRO, you're going to want to export the spectro.bpd file from the configuration window in the probe match to a probe match folder that you created in step 1. So let's have a look at that. So right here I have the configuration window pulled up of Colourspace ZRO probe matching, and you can see I have my I1D3 colorimeter up here as the active probe, and the reference probe is the I1P2. I've already done my probe match, so that's why those are there. But to export the I1 Pro 2 file, all I have to do is go up here and choose the I1 Pro 2, and then I'm going to choose export, and then I'll just choose my probe match file, or excuse me, folder that I created in step 1, and I'm going to hit save. So that's going to send that out. Now the next step is you're going to want to make sure you set this back so that it is appropriately ready to probe match. We'll go back to our little note here. And after you export that spectro BPD, the next is that obviously you want to confirm that the probe match is set up and active in ZRO, because the next step is we're going to want to measure the patch sets with ZRO with probe matching active. So this looks good. The colorimeter is here, the I1 Pro 2 is here. We can close this window and we'll open the ZRO main window, and then we'll go over here to graph options. And there's two things you need to do here. First thing you need to do is make sure that probe matching is active. We just checked it, it looked good. We're going to turn it on. So now ZRO will be actively probe matching. Then we're going to go over here to measurement log, and we're going to use the overflow button, and we're going to set up ZRO to output our next set of measurements to a CSV file. You can name this whatever you want, but just put it in that folder you created for probe matching. I've already done this. Mine's called confirmation. You name it whatever you like. Obviously, you'd hit save there. Then you're going to enable this. So this means ZRO is now going to output every measurement you do to this log that you just set up. The next step is to go over to Manual Measure tab at the top. Now we have to pick the correct probe matching patch set that we need. If we look at my main window here, we can see I'm working in 10-bit legal patch scale resolution. So I would want to choose a legal 10-bit patch set, verification patch set. If you don't have yours pulled up, you just click the folder, navigate to wherever you downloaded those, and here's mine, 10-bit legal probe matching check. I'm going to open that. It's going to pull up the correct patches. I'm going to choose Auto Advance. And I don't have an active probe at the moment, but it'd be assumed your I1D3 is hooked up and on the screen appropriately at wherever it needs to be to measure the patches, and you'd choose Measure. And it would run through these one time is all you need. After it's done measuring, you just go back over to Graph Options. You're going to want to disable the measurement log. And with that, we're done in Zero. So we can minimize this now and make our way over to Excel to actually verify what we've done. So the first thing we're going to do is open the verification spreadsheet that you downloaded at the beginning of the video. You can see here it's filtered to all Excel files. That's why my other files aren't showing up. So it's important to go up here and choose all files, and then all your stuff should show up. So the first thing you want to open is your final probe match verification spreadsheet. Choose Open. This is what you should get. The first thing we're going to do is copy and paste the spectro measurements into this part right here. It's very simple. I've included little notes here in case you forget which cell you want to copy and paste to, but it's very easy. You just navigate now over to your BPD file that we exported earlier, i1pro2test.bpd. And when you open this, Excel is going to bark at you because it doesn't know what a .bpd file is. You're going to want to choose yes to this, and then always open this as an XML table. That's how this verification spreadsheet is set up, and that's what you're going to want to do. So make sure that's on as an XML table and hit OK. From here, what we're going to do is just simply select C1, hold the Shift key on your keyboard, and select N1 as well. That's going to highlight those. We're going to right-click and copy those. Those copied, you can close this window. You don't need to save changes. Then we're going to drop our cursor in the verification spreadsheet in B3. And we're going to paste those in. Awesome. Now we need to get those measurements from our probe match colorimeter. To do that, just go back to our probe match folder, and we're going to find the confirmation.csv we made and choose Open. Here, you're going to leave your cursor in box A1, and then you're going to hold the Shift key again and select H7 down here in the bottom. Right click, copy all those values, close this. Then you're going to put your cursor in cell A6 of your verification, and you're going to paste those values. The spreadsheet is made so that it will compare the measurements in the correct places between your spectro and your colorimeter, and down here in the bottom you will get the results. Green is all pass. If you got some red values in here, you need to go back and reevaluate your probe match in your process and make sure you didn't make changes in between. If you got other problems, that's obviously something that wouldn't be covered in the scope of this video, but head on over to AVS forums or just comment in this video, and someone will be happy to give you a hand sorting out what's going on to get your probe match lined up. But this is what you're looking for. You want basically within these tolerances. So X and Y, and then your luma needs to be within these values. And you can see from the probe match I did, all worked out. So I can move on now knowing that my probe match is accurately set up in Zero, and proceed with whatever I was going to do that day, calibrating or profiling. That's pretty much it as far as the verification goes. Just a couple nuances about this process I want to tell you about. Always delete the files once you verify that your probe match is accurate. And what do I mean by that? I mean the confirmation and the .bpd file. Always create new iterations of these files every time you do the verification. Don't write over them or rename them. It will just cause problems for you. So my best advice is to just delete these once you're done with them. And then when you go to probe match verify next time, start with a clean slate of files so that it just makes it easier. What happens in this CSV file is if you override it for whatever reason, it will just keep adding data below the existing data set. So it gets a little confusing. So your best bet is just delete these and start with fresh files every time. But that's pretty much it. I hope that you guys enjoyed the video, and if you have any questions or comments, feel free to comment below. And as always, happy calibrating.